All right, want to check in. I want to make a video talking about the end of the Steelers and Raiders game from last night. I know it's probably been talked about a lot on the X, Twitter, everywhere else, but I wanted to give my take on it because I wasn't on stream. And usually on stream when we stream on Twitch, going over the games and talking about the games, we always talk about game management, how important it is, whether it's in college football or the NFL. Game management is extremely important. And then in the NFL, these guys get paid way too much money to not know what to do. It's often been said that kids, young adults, anybody really who's ever played Madden knows basic game management, right? Because you go through situations so many times. These coaches should know, they should know what to do when the game's on the line in certain situations. So let's go through and let's hear what Josh McDaniels had to say about his decision.
Hey, Josh, in that last sequence when you guys had the ball, any consideration to
Yeah,
going for it?
of
And
course.
what was the thought process?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I thought um, you have two choices there. You try to make it a 5 point game where you have an opportunity to win it with a touchdown if you get the ball back, or you try to, go for it there. And then if you happen to convert, then you got to make the 2 point conversion, all the rest of it. So, just those are the decisions you got to make. I thought we did a decent job of putting ourselves in third down there the next series with the defense to try to have a play to get off the field, and we didn't handle that play very well.
Okay. All right. So let's go through the sequence at the very end of the game for the Raiders and the Steelers. Raiders, they have the ball. It's 4th and 1 on the Pittsburgh 24-yard line, and there's a 5-yard penalty on the Raiders, right? So I think it was a false start. So kicks the Raiders back from a 4th and 1 to a 4th and 6. So instead of going for it on 4th and 6, they go ahead and kick a field goal. All right, that's fine. There's still 3 minutes and 21 seconds left in the game at this time, right? So the Raiders kick a field goal, and then there's a penalty on the Steelers. Steelers defender touches the snapper, grabs onto his back, trying to lift himself up, and they call a personal foul. Illegal move, the correct call. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down for the Raiders, right? Okay, so now the Raiders have a chance to go for it, but they don't. They don't pick up a first down. They don't get a touchdown. They get the ball all the way down to the Steeler 8-yard line, and that's where it's okay. The Raiders have the ball. 2 minutes and 25 seconds left. 4th and 4 from the Steelers 8-yard line. Okay, and this is where McDaniels decides to kick a field goal. Right. So let's talk about that in a game management sense. So earlier he was ready to go for it on the 21-yard line on 4th and 1. And now it's 4th and 4 on the 8-yard line, and he decides to kick a field goal, and he's already lost at least a minute off the clock. Okay, so this doesn't make sense for a few reasons, right? One, they have a very good chance, or they have a chance of getting a touchdown or a first down, extending the drive, or if he really trusted his defense, which didn't play, I mean, they had some great moments, but they also had some breakdowns in coverage. Okay. So if he really trusted his defense that much to kick the field goal and still need a touchdown, why didn't he just go for it? So let's say the Raiders go for it and they didn't pick up the first down. Okay, let's say it was an incomplete pass. So the ball didn't move. The ball stays on the 8-yard line. So now the Steelers are pinned on the 8-yard line, and Vegas has 3 timeouts, and the 2-minute warning to work with the Steelers pinned back. Okay, so doesn't that make more sense for the Raiders to go for it? And if McDaniels trusted his defense that much to actually, it would be better and benefit the Raiders to have the Steelers pinned on their own 8-yard line and force them to try to move the ball, run the ball, pick up probably multiple first downs to try to end the game. Because again, the Raiders had 3 timeouts and a 2-minute warning to work with. But instead, he kicks a field goal, making it a 5-point game, and then kicking off to the Steelers, and then trying to force a stop, and then try to get the ball back. And the Steelers are still able to punt the ball, which they did, leaving the Raiders with, I think, like 15 seconds to try to win the game. Jimmy G ends up throwing an interception. The rest is history, right? So why is this important? These coaches get paid so much money and are trusted to lead an NFL team that is worth billions of dollars, right? And they can't even make simple decisions, basic decisions that probably like a 15-year-old kid who plays Madden every day probably knows how to get out of those situations or how to work through them. So that's why that's why it's such a huge deal. Because yes, I had the Raiders. Well, I had the Raiders in the Las Vegas contest and bet laying 2.5 points, right? So you care about the game, you're watching the game, but still, just in a basic fundamental football, trying to win the game, McDaniels' decisions made absolutely zero sense, and they're not justifiable. You can't even justify it. If I was a general manager, if I was the owner of the team, I would have gone down there and you have to fire him. Yes, you could say that's a little dramatic, but seriously, McDaniels couldn't make a decision that probably a 15-year-old kid who plays Madden every day would know how to do, right? Some dude that's been sitting on his couch watching Red Zone for the past 12 hours is screaming at the TV like myself, that knows what to do in that situation because it seems pretty basic and fundamental. Why he didn't know how to do it, why he didn't do it, why he didn't own up to it in the press conference. It made zero sense. And I know I'm ranting, but that's what it deserves because it's ridiculous, you know? And I don't know, just something like that. That's like, if you're like, I think Devonte Adams interviewed after the game. He's in the locker room. Devonte Adams had what, 9 catches for almost 200 yards yesterday. Did everything he could. He had one bad drop and he got popped over the middle. But other than that, Devonte Adams did everything he could to help the Raiders win. And he gets interviewed after the game. He's like, man,
we having a tough time consistently doing that right now. And I don't want to act like it's all crazy. It's week 3, but I don't got time to wait around. And it's not a personal thing. I mean, it is a personal thing, but it ain't just about me. But I mean, it's not my mentality to sit here and try to take all season to figure it out. You use these early games like this to establish our identity, and we not doing things the right way to establish a winning culture early in the season. So we got to do something to turn that around.
now the Raiders are 1-2, and McDaniels probably's lost the locker room. I mean, it sounds probably you might say it sounds dramatic, but he probably lost the locker room because how can you lead these guys when, one, I don't think they'd respect your intellectual abilities as a head coach, and I don't even know how you would even describe the play calling during the game as well. The defense didn't play a perfect game, but they kept the Raiders in the game to try to make a comeback. And the offense is just sporadic. And who runs the offense? Lombardi and McDaniels. Well, if I'm a Raiders fan, I'm pissed, because you're gonna lose the locker room. Nobody respects your head coach, and now everyone's asking questions. So now for every Raiders game, there's going to be a magnifying glass on McDaniels and the Raiders. I just think there's going to be a lot of drama following the Raiders for the rest of the season. And McDaniels is probably officially on the hot seat. But yeah, it doesn't look good for Raiders Nation. And I just had to get that off my chest because I didn't get to talk about it yesterday when we were streaming on Twitch. So thanks for tuning in, DDSN Nation. Let me know what y'all think in the comments about Josh McDaniels and his late game decision making. And hopefully we'll get some more NFL videos out for y'all soon. We'll see y'all later.